What's up, guys? Welcome to Life Knowledge. My name is Justin Alphabet. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below. Stay to the end of the video so you get all the information that you need. Today we're going to be talking about the cure to fear. It's normal to be afraid of things. Everyone has some kind of fear. Everybody has something that they are afraid of. And so just being afraid of stuff does not mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're less than other people. And so I'm going to teach you guys today how to get over your fear and how to cure that fear inside of you. So I've done this for myself over and over and over again with every single one of my fears and all of the different kinds of fear that I have. Because when I was young, I realized I didn't want to be afraid of things. I didn't want to let other things control me, because when you are afraid of something, it has power over you. It can control you. It can control your actions. It can control the direction of your life based on your choices, because you'll choose to do the opposite of what you are afraid of. And so it can potentially stop you from living your dreams. It can stop you from great opportunities. It can stop you from reaching, the highest heights of your life. And so I'm going to address a couple of, common fears and how to get over them, and tell you at the end of the video what the cure to fear is. So for myself personally, I used to be afraid of heights, which is a very common fear. I used to be afraid of public speaking. I used to be afraid of girls. Girls were a big thing that used to scare me. And people, I guess, in general. I was afraid of people. There are a couple different things that, I did to get over these things. First off, I'll start with the heights. When I was afraid of heights, I would jump into it. I would accept it and embrace the fear. And by embracing the fear, that means that you do something that you're still afraid of anyways, which is sometimes called bravery. Some people classify that as confidence or bravery, where you are afraid to do something, but you do it anyways, right? So I would go rock climbing or things of that nature. Like I would go rock climbing, or when my body was telling me, don't go near that cliff edge, I would still do it anyways, just slowly, right? Just be cautious and careful about it. And so like when your body is telling you and it's signaling you that you shouldn't go towards that cliff edge, it's a protective mechanism. It's an alarm. It's basically just like a signal your body's giving off that there's potential danger, right? But what I realized is that it's just potential danger. It's not actual physical danger. Most of the time, fear will signal whether there actually is imminent danger or it's just perceived danger. And so I started to notice that. I realized that I'm actually not, I'm fully hooked in on a rope. Like this rope is super sturdy. I saw other people that were way heavier than me using this same rope. I know this rope is attached to a rock, which is very secure because I checked it myself. And the straps that I have are very secure. My muscles are really strong. So like, even if like the rope breaks, I can protect myself. And, other things of that nature. Like I know the rock climbing, I've been practicing rock climbing in a safe setting. And things like that. So I have at least 3 or 4 different safety measures in place that are protecting me while I'm rock climbing, but the alarms are still going off in my head of the fear signals, right? And so what I noticed is that like these alarms are still going off, but I'm safe. So what's the issue here? So I realized that like they were false alarms, right? And sometimes what happens is, like, if you've ever been in like a school fire drill situation, when there's a fire drill, they have all the students go out of the building and the alarms don't turn off until the firefighters come to shut them off, but you still have to wait a little while to have those alarms shut off. So the alarms are still going on in the background, but you're safe, right? And I kind of thought about it in that same concept where like these fear alarms and these fear signals are still going off, but I am safe. And so you kind of have like a sense of calm that can come over you, even though you feel a little bit anxious, or you have that heightened status of awareness, or the fight or flight mode is what some people call it. You have that heightened awareness, but you don't have to be afraid of that. It could be, you could also perceive it or switch it into excitement. Because what's actually funny is that the same chemical that tells you that you're afraid, or signals your body that you should be afraid of something, is also the same chemical that is anxiety, or also excitement. So you could trick yourself into being excited instead of being afraid, which is really interesting. And that's why people like watching scary movies, is because it gives them the same sense of emotions, or a similar sense of emotion, as excitement instead of fear, right? That's why people enjoy being afraid. And I didn't ever get that as a kid. I was like, why do people like in scary movies? Why do people like being afraid? Why do people like being scared? But it turns out that that's the case. The chemicals are the same or similar. And so that's one thing that you can take into the future with you. With public speaking as well, it's the same thing. If you're afraid to do it, if you're afraid to public speak or talk to a crowd of people or whatever, then just start with a small group. Start with one-on-one. Start with a couple people, and raise the numbers and be like, oh, I've spoken to 2 people, I can speak to 3. Spoken to 4, 5. I've spoken to a group of 10. Now a group of 20. Now a group of 30. And get comfortable in small groups first, and public speaking that way. And then raise the levels. Start with the classroom. Start with something small. Start with your parents or your siblings or just your family, if they're open and willing to listen to you. But make sure you have a receptive audience, and that the people are willing to listen to you, because that can make or break the quality of your experience. So have a willing audience, basically. And just ask somebody, ask your friends, ask someone who would be willing. Be like, hey, I'm trying to do a presentation and get better at this presentation. Would you take 2 minutes to 5 minutes and listen to me, or 10 minutes, or whatever length of time you're trying to speak? And you can start small there too, right? Start small with just a small public speech or something like that, and work your way up. It's built on small foundations. That great things are built on small foundations. And then eventually someday you could be addressing crowds of millions, if that's what you want. Or just even the people that, the larger crowds that you do want to talk to. And even just conquering your fear, if that's something you're afraid of. It doesn't even have to be about the people. It could be about yourself and conquering your fear. And the byproduct would be people being helped by that, if you're sharing a good message, right? And then, so that brings me to, the last thing, which is, what is the cure for fear? And the cure for fear is action. And this has been proved by scientists and therapists and many other different types of people through various different studies. And one recent study was done on people with PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, where people who had a traumatic experience like abuse, rape, any type of abuse, or just psychological damage, right? And what they noticed in these people is the only thing that helped these people was becoming stronger than their assailant, or the people who hurt them, right? So essentially what they discovered is taking action. The cure for fear is action. So someone who was raped could go to jiu-jitsu and become stronger and more powerful, and basically be able to attack or defend themselves against any future assailant, as well as their past assailants. And that was what essentially helped them to triumph over this PTSD. Like, they stopped having these post-traumatic stress disorder situations where they got, hyperventilation or flashbacks or, sadness or any sort of negative effects from this PTSD. And so being able to, take action and do something about it was the only thing that could cure them. And the same goes for any fear, because PTSD is fear of traumatic experiences. And so, your body is signaling you, your body is telling you that you're not safe, but being able to be capable and being able to be an action taker is what will help you overcome this fear. And so now my question to you guys is, what is your fear? Are you afraid of spiders? Go kill some spiders. Go relocate some spiders outside. Realize that your fear is, it has this power over you, but it doesn't have to have this power over you. You can have power over it by doing your fears. And start small, start with small spiders, start with, things that are relatively harmless, and work your way up. Start out with 1 jiu-jitsu class, then 2, then 3, then 4. Just try it out and see how it goes. See if you like the people, see if you like the class, and see if you can feel comfortable there and learning how to protect yourself. Go to, some beautiful overlooks and cliffs and kind of get close to the edge, but not too close. Just so you kind of don't put yourself in danger, but make sure you're safe. And things like that, just try to get closer to the edge or closer to your fear until one day you're going to be climbing up mountains, rock climbing, or you'll be, addressing millions or killing the biggest spiders in the world, right? That's the goal. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have the day you deserve. Let's level up, and I'll see you in the next one.